Hey everyone, Robert here, author of Expansion Mastery, the practical guide to living a fully engaged life. Are you ready to start living your life to the fullest? Are you ready and willing to transform yourself and your life from ordinary to extraordinary? Well then, let's make 2020 the best year ever. Welcome, my friends, to the Fully Engaged Life. Welcome back to the show, my friends. I hope your 2020 is off to a fantastic start. I know mine is. I just finished booking a guest for an upcoming episode. I think it will air around Valentine's Day. So we're going to have a very special guest on for that particular program. So make sure you are tuning in. And this is one you are definitely going to want to share with everyone you know. All right, in this particular episode, we're going to address the third challenge in the esoteric section of the being level of Expansion Mastery. And this particular one is dealing with vibration, and it's called Raise Your Vibrational Frequency. Now, by this point in the challenge exercises, you should be fairly aware of your vibration and the specific frequency in which you normally operate. And if you have followed some of the previous practices, such as opening your heart, you have already begun to raise your vibration. One of the interesting things you will begin to understand about all of these spiritual practices is that whenever you work on one, you're working on some others as well. They're all interlaced. So they aren't finite, separate aspects. They are part of the greater whole, which comprises each one of us. And as we well understand, everything in the universe is energy. Matter is simply energy that is vibrating at a very low frequency. We understand all energy vibrates, right? So by understanding our spiritual practices, ourselves, and our life from a vibrational standpoint, we get right down to the core of things, the very closest we can to our true essence, our highest conscious awareness that we can while we are in body and mind. And this is the idea. When we attain a higher sense of consciousness, we are living a spiritual life. And it is a major component in living a fully engaged life. Now, as we know, if we look at things realistically, in life, we have ups and downs. Our frequency is fluctuating constantly. Tens of thousands, if not more times every single day. As every little nuance of our emotional state changes, our mental state changes, so too changes our vibrational frequency. So I listed some things in my book. I put in a table there, various things that affect our vibration, because these are things that we can use to actually help ourselves raise our vibration. Let's examine a few of these. So the first one is music. Music is pure vibration. What better way to work on your vibrational frequency than by using vibration itself, music? And we can understand things that a lot of classical music, some light rock, there are various types of music like this that will raise your vibration. There are other music styles that tend to lower our vibration. A lot of rap and hip hop are very low vibration. Doesn't mean these people aren't talented. It's just they're dealing with a lower vibrational sense of this medium. Blues is actually lower vibration. A lot of people don't think that because so many of us enjoy blues. I do too. But we have to understand that it does lower our vibration. Think about it this way. When do you want to listen to the blues? When you're feeling blue, perhaps, right? So, and when we are blue, when we're down, our vibrational frequency is down. You understand? That's why we're feeling down. That's referring to our energy levels, our vibrational frequency. So blues is actually a lower vibration type of music. Death metal and all of that other stuff like that too, that real heavy, hard stuff, the screaming and things, all of that is very low vibration. If you get the bass where it's turned up and vibrating really hard, you can hear it a half a mile away and feel it all around you, that's lowering your vibration as well. And the same could be said for various types of country music. Over the past maybe 10 years, some country music has changed and become a little bit more upbeat, but a lot of country music was maybe a little on the bluesy side, a little bit lower vibration. And it doesn't mean that any of these styles are right or wrong, good or bad. But if we look at them from a vibrational standpoint, then we know what to listen to if we want to have a positive impact on our vibrational frequency. This, of course, doesn't mean that we can't allow ourselves to listen to anything else. We just have to understand that if we do, then we might want to finish with something a little more upbeat or do something else that's upbeat in order to raise our vibration again when we are finished. Because the idea is to attain as high a vibrational frequency as you possibly can and then to hold that as much as you can. And whenever you feel it start to drop, you take measures to raise it back up. And another large area is movies. Now, this includes anything you go to the theater for, the things you're watching on Netflix and YouTube Red and all the other online stations that are out there now, all of the streaming things, right? It doesn't matter what it is, as long as it's a visual format, some sort of cinema, movie, television shows, things like that. Obviously, forms of comedy can raise your vibration, depending. Right now, comedy has turned very political, along with most everything else on some sort of viewing program, but that does not serve to raise your vibration. But certain comedies, if they're light enough, they have a tendency to be able to raise your vibration. Some animated shows have the ability to raise your vibration. Things that lower your vibration are intense dramas, suspense dramas, and obviously horror movies. Horror movies are the genre of entertainment that lowers your frequency the farthest and the fastest. Again, it doesn't mean you can't ever indulge in one of these things as long as you raise your vibration back up. Personally, I abstain, especially from horror movies. I just can't take them. I don't enjoy them at all. I understand the genre, I understand the format, but I just don't care for it. I don't like how they make me feel. Even if I remain very detached from what I'm watching and just watch it for the cinematic value or what have you, I just don't enjoy it. All the gore films and stuff like that, very, very, very low vibration, and I just don't care to put my vibrational frequency into that sort of lower state. So we have to be very careful what we put in front of our eyes and what we put to our ears. And one of the things that you can do to begin understanding this is observe people around you. Now, when I recommend observing those around you, I'm not saying to do this out of any sense of judgment whatsoever, purely for observational purposes. And then you turn that back on yourself so you can benefit from others this way. So you can notice, in other words, if there's someone that is really attracted to a low vibration music, they're listening to that all the time, that tells you that they're attracted to that because that is their emotional frequency. See, we are attracted to forms of entertainment, music and movies and such that resonate with our vibrational frequency. So you can tell a lot about people and how they are and where they're at vibrationally by the things they choose to listen to and watch. And because of that, we can also understand the same thing about ourselves, can't we? Take a look at the type of music you're most attracted to. Take a look at the types of movies and television shows you're most attracted to, because that tells you something about your emotional and vibrational state. Another category that I included was your clothing. If you have nice quality clothes, nice fabrics, and you keep them clean and tidy, this helps to raise your vibration. If you know that you look good, you feel good, right? I didn't coin that phrase, obviously, but it's true. If you look good, you feel good. If you look good, you can look in the mirror and go, wow, that's a nice shirt. That's a nice pair of slacks I'm wearing. Look at these shoes. And it doesn't mean they have to be super expensive or anything like that. It's not the materialistic principle of this. It's just making sure that you put something nice on your body, because it has the potential to raise your vibration. Think about it. If your clothes are all ripped, they don't fit right, they're dirty, they're wrinkled, they're filled with pet hair, you just don't feel as confident about yourself, right? You don't feel as good. And it brings your vibration down. Stop for a moment and think about how many different statements, like the one I just shared, if you look good, you feel good, having to do with your clothing, as well as other aspects of yourself being kept up. But there are other things too, and even songs written about clothing, right? ZZ Top did one quite a while back about sharp-dressed man, right? Why? Because it raises our vibration. If you look around, you can see that there's a lot of truth out there to things that we don't often associate with our vibrational frequency, yet it actually is referring to it. Now, after this, we get into our thoughts. In other words, having a lot of healthy, positive thoughts raise our vibration. Thoughts of manipulation and jealousy and anger and all of that sort of thing, nope, that's obviously going to lower our vibration, right? You guys understand that already. And then we go into our words, our speech. When we speak encouragingly and supportively of others, it raises our vibration. When we're engaged in lying and gossiping, lowers our vibration. Obvious again, but we need to become very mindful of such things. Then we get into our actions. When we are giving, helping others, when we're exercising, what happens? You got it. Vibration starts rising. And of course, just the opposite effect takes place if we are feeling low energy, lazy, or if we're engaged in some activity that is bringing harm to another. This lowers our vibration as well, of course. So, various activities, our livelihood, going for quiet walks, engaging in meditation, things that engage silence, raises our vibration. Obviously, activities such as stealing or causing damage to people's property, and even things just like senselessly bar hopping around, all those things lower our vibration, right? So I included this table in my book that you can reference and understand this. We want to be mindful of these things. So I gave you several topics here in the book so that you could start to reference this in your own life, start to observe these things in others around you, and most importantly, be able to then bring it into applying it to yourself so that you can pay attention to how your vibrational frequency is reacting to things. And as always, I encourage you not to take what I'm saying here as being the truth, because these are my words. This is my experience. What I challenge you to do is to take each one of these topics and explore them for yourself. Come to the realization that it is a truth, that what I'm saying is correct, from your own experiences, not just borrowing my knowledge by accepting what I say is truth. And of course, we know the best way to monitor our vibrational frequency is our emotional state. That's right. When we have higher based emotions such as love, appreciation, joy, our vibration is soaring. When we are engaged in feelings of shame and guilt and hatred, mistrust, things like that, vibration is in the tank. It's pretty simple. And think about the massive range of emotional states that a human being has. It's quite phenomenal, isn't it? So we can see we have an equal vibrational frequency range that we are constantly moving through at any point in the day and night. Now, another thing to pay attention to that I would add to that list that I speak about in the book, but I did not include in the table necessarily, is to pay attention to the company you keep. This one is easy, and it's easier to do with friends sometimes than family, but I recommend you assess both, because if there's anyone that you hang around, in your friend group or whatever, and you just notice that they're a source of frustration, that they're not a very positive person, always, of course, we try to help them out. But if you notice that they're always lowering your vibration just being around them, then sometimes it's time to move on, and it means that you are growing apart. Their vibration may continue to go down, yours may continue to rise. When that happens, you will find you'll naturally grow apart. Nobody has to fight or be mad or anything at one another. You'll just kind of go your own ways. And this is a normal course in life, and this is one of the reasons it happens. But sometimes we have to make the hard decision to break from someone's company simply because we understand that they are doing us no good at all, actually causing us a bit of harm this way, at least vibrationally, spiritually. And the same goes for certain family members. Now, I know this is a bit taboo. Everyone believes that, they're family, and you just have to put up with them, and, this is not true at all. There's no law that states such a thing. This is just a societal belief that is imposed upon us. If you have a toxic family member, the best thing you can do is separate yourself from them, because we can't change people. People have to want to change themselves. We can try and help them. We can help them through guidance. We can give them the tools, but we can't make anyone do anything they don't want to do, especially change. And as we know, the one thing people like to do the least is change. I enjoy observing others and get a feel for where their vibration is, as well as the mind state, since I do a lot with mind science teachings. And it's very interesting how you'll have someone that's working to raise their vibration, and yet they're always drawn to going back to old friends in the past who have very low vibrations. And this shows that they're still addicted to that. They still, the ego is still addicted to the drama of that low vibration, because drama is low vibration. So they still have that addiction they haven't been able to kick. And it can be a difficult thing. I understand we don't like to be mean to people, and you don't have to be mean, but sometimes we have to move forward in life and allow others to follow their own path as well. And one of the things that I learned through my own experience, as well as things I got taught from various mentors I've had in my life, is that when you raise your vibrational frequency, you will naturally vibrate at a different level. It's almost like, now it's not, I'm just saying, it's almost like living in a different dimension, where the people you used to hang around with that have a lower vibrational frequency just kind of go away, and they don't even think about you much anymore. It's almost like you don't exist in the same planes anymore. and they just kind of fall away. But something really cool happens at the same time. And what that is that you start attracting other people to you, new people, people that have the same vibrational frequency that you do. And then your life starts to really take off. And as long as we are clinging to people with low vibrations, and our vibration is being drawn down, and we try and raise it up, and it's drawn down again, or it's just drawn down, and we find ourselves staying there more than we want, we can't have that sort of thing take place. We can't rise up, and those people won't be attracted to us. See, we're the lower vibration person to them. So we have to raise our vibration. When we do, these people just come into our life, and we have all new friends, and we have healthier relationships. We have higher vibration relationships. There's more sense of heart connection. There's a greater sense of lightness and joy and having a mutually beneficial friendship. And you can't beat that. It's just a wonderful feeling. So you will notice as you engage in this and you raise your vibration that some of this starts to take place naturally, and some of it we will have to actually act upon ourselves. And some of it can be tough, and nobody knows that more than myself, I assure you. But sometimes we have to make the hard call in order to do what's best for ourselves, for our spiritual advancement, and allow us to step into a new vibrational frequency realm where we can meet people of like vibrational frequency. Now, one of the things I didn't even remember until I'm reading over the book here for this particular episode is that I mentioned a couple of my grandsons. Back at this time, I only had the two. Now I have 4 and a granddaughter on the way. Good grief, come on. Isn't that incredible? But I talked a lot about Jordan and Dallas, and it's interesting. I still, just last weekend, had a Yu-Gi-Oh! Battle over FaceTime with the guys because they're back in Michigan and I'm here in California. So we still keep in touch, and all of my grandkids bring me a lot of delight. They're just wonderful little guys, and I'm very anxious to meet the newest member, the only young lady amongst them all, when she makes her debut this year. So it's going to be very exciting. But this is the idea. We fill our life with friends and family, the ones that matter most. So you'll notice that your circle starts to shrink as you become more spiritual. The people that are more spiritually aware spend more time by themselves. They can often be found alone or with just 1 or 2 other people, whereas those who are not awakened much are usually found in large groups of people, the little herd, right? Where everybody in the herd is following around doing the same thing, and they have their little herd, and they do that. So you'll notice that this phenomenon happens, and when this happens, a lot of people start to panic and they become frightened and stop their advancement. And I assure you that it's natural, and this is one of the reasons why I state that we need to be spiritual warriors, because we have to have the courage to walk this path, to do these things, to make some hard calls sometimes. So we have to have the courage to do so. Living a spiritually based, awakened life requires a lot of inner strength, especially in the beginning, but it does require a lot of inner strength. It's a sense of strength that a lot of human beings have just not developed, and therefore they will be incapable of ever producing any real results in this lifetime, as sad as that is to say. However, for a lot of us, for the majority of us, we have that potential. We have that ability. We can do this. We can tap into that inner strength. We can progress. We can awaken. We can live a fully engaged life. Now, there are a lot of foofy ideas out there on how to raise your vibration. I've just shared several with you. The key to it all comes down to this. You must have a sense of mindful awareness for your emotional state as much as you possibly can throughout the day, every single moment of every single day, in order to pay attention to where your vibrational frequency is at any given moment in time. That's what it comes down to. Without that, you are unable to make any positive changes in your vibration. It's still out of control, just like most people's emotional state is out of their control. Once we have control of our emotional state, we start to gain control of our vibrational state as well. This was discussed in a previous challenge, if you recall. So be mindful and be good to yourself, and do everything in your power to be aware of where you're at and what you're doing so that you can live a higher vibrational life and a fully engaged life. Make sure and visit me at www.expansionmastery.com. You can grab an autographed copy of Expansion Mastery there. The table is in the book that I discussed in this podcast, as well as a bunch of information. And you can pick up additional products there as well. Please make sure and follow us and like us and subscribe and all of that stuff for all of the social media. I always appreciate it greatly. I cannot thank you enough for your support over the years. And please make sure you're sharing this podcast with others so we get the real, authentic spiritual teachings out there in a way that we can understand them in a practical way that brings real, lasting results. Until next time, my friends, I wish you the very best in all of your practices and your life. Take care.